Welcome to the Game Sense Football Podcast. My name is Ewan, and with me is Nas.
Hello.
And in today's episode, we preview the upcoming Premier League season. We'll be offering our predictions, some maybe bad predictions once again, who knows? And we will be also giving a short preview on perhaps the top 8 teams from last season, and maybe as a bit of a bonus, we'll maybe take a look at who gets relegated as well, or who we think will get relegated.
Because we are always right.
Because we're always right, even when we're wrong.
That's right.
And once again, we post on Instagram. Our handle on Instagram is Game Sense Football. Apart from that, if you prefer to write us long emails, we're there as well. GameSenseFootball@gmail.com. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Yes.
So Nas, have you been watching the Olympics?
I have actually. I actually spent last weekend on holiday in Hong Kong, and whenever we were trying to escape from the heat because it's so stupidly bloody hot now, we tended to watch some of the coverage on local TV there. So watched a bit of the hockey, the bouldering, watched a bit of the marathon, some swimmers dunking themselves in the filthy river there. Didn't get to watch the breakdancing. I heard that was quite hilarious, and I watched the Olympic Games football final. Yeah.
Great. But what's your favorite sport, to watch at the Olympics, football aside?
This year's Olympics or all time? Because it keeps changing, right?
Yeah. But let's go with all time. What would you tend to gravitate towards?
I like to watch like a judo, for example. That's always fun because I am an MMA fan as well. And outside of Olympics, when do you ever watch judo or karate and stuff like that?
Almost never.
Almost never. I mean, sometimes just for fun, you watch curling. So yeah, there's that.
Curling's nice, but
Curling.
not at the Summer Olympics.
That's Winter Olympics. But this year's bouldering was actually quite interesting as well. Not that
Oh, was it?
I myself don't do much rock climbing, but it was fun to watch.
Okay. And you mentioned that you were in Hong Kong. What's your favorite thing, about Hong Kong that you liked? Was your first time there? I believe, right?
Yeah, first time in Hong Kong, and I would have to say the food is really really good. If you can get past the questionable service sometimes. Funny story, we went to lunch and I sat down, and it was really hot. And halfway through the meal, I was it's thirsty. It's nice that they already gave us some water, so I took a big gulp of water. Then my wife was like, "Oh, that's the water that they give you to clean your utensils." Oh, okay. Yeah. I spent the rest of the
Okay.
day wondering if I would get food poisoning.
Hope that didn't happen.
Yeah, my stomach felt weird, but I think it was more in my head than my stomach.
Yeah, I think after hearing that,
Yeah.
it will be in my head the entire day as well.
Rookie mistake.
Okay, and speaking about the Olympic Games, I think we would like to mention quickly the final. You said you watched the final.
Yeah, from the comforts of my hotel room, France against Spain was a really really good match. Spain went through in the end. Gold medal 5-3. France actually scored first, and then Spain like immediately smashed 3 goals in, and they looked quite comfortable until France second half pulled it back to 3-3, and Spain won 5-3 in extra time. But yeah, I mean, France managed by Thierry Henry and has Alexandre
Yeah.
Lacazette as the captain.
Do you think Spain deserved to win it over France?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Spain now, Olympic champions, European champions, and I think reigning under 21 champions as well. So future is bright.
Yeah, you think this is, again going to be a period of dominance by the Spanish team after their Euro victory. Now Olympics. Next up, probably the World Cup.
I think they have as good a chance as any. Even the Euro squad that won it was very young. I mean, how much have we spoken about Lamine Yamal and even Nico Williams and all? So they have every chance of doing really well.
Okay, cool. I think, congratulations to Spain once again. Not sure how many times we have to say this over and over again. And also last weekend we had the Community Shield.
Yes, that was another. Well, Is the Community Shield a final? In a way, I guess so.
It's a friendly.
Friendly final, but it's a trophy. You have to qualify for it. But
Yeah.
Man United and Man City, FA Cup winners against league winners. First half I thought was quite boring,
Yeah,
and
nothing much going on there in the first half.
yeah, City had a couple of chances that came about through United making mistakes, but United played very well in the second half.
Mhm.
I thought United deserved to win, actually.
We did have some good chances. I think Bruno as a false nine um, has again worked.
Hmm.
So it's really interesting to see what Eric Ten Hag would go for,
Yeah.
especially when now we have Joshua Zirkzee
Yeah.
and with Rasmus Højlund coming back from injury in a few weeks' time as well.
And actually, Bruno as that false nine attacking midfielder slot worked very well with Mason Mount doing the same thing also. So finally back from
Yeah,
injury. So
like a new signing.
like a new signing.
Yeah.
My expectation for Man United grew brighter after that game.
I think they performed better than I expected as well, especially, after seeing the injuries
Yeah.
happening in preseason. I was thinking, oh my goodness, it's like more of the same from last season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Injury troubles. And we didn't really get to see Zirkzee as well
Yes.
make his
Yeah.
debut. But I'm sure we'll see that pretty soon. But Marcus Rashford did a little better apart from his glaring miss in the second half.
Yeah. He did okay, but
Better than I expected. I thought he would do shit,
yeah, same. So I mean, I say he did okay, but even then, it's still below the standard. Like he played
Yes,
left wing,
yes.
Diallo played very well on the right, Garnacho came on and played very well and
Yeah.
scored. So even by that measure, he's at best
He's not, he's
third
not the
choice,
best performing winger, right?
And he hit the post when he really should have scored. So yeah,
And Jadon Sancho also coming back
yeah,
like
yeah,
a new signing.
like a new signing.
Anyway, I think, losing on penalties is no shame.
Yes, though that
So,
penalty from Johnny Evans was quite shameful.
I mean, he's a defender. Give him a break,
Yes.
right?
Why is he taking the penalty? Why is he taking the penalty?
Perhaps Eric Ten Hag felt that his experience warranted him, a place in the spot
I guess
of
so, but
takers.
I was surprised he took it before like Onana.
Actually, that's true.
Mm.
But anyway, I think it was an encouraging performance by
Yes.
United. Yep.
Though has to be said, United played against City, who didn't start Bernardo Silva or De Bruyne or Rodri.
It's okay. That's fine. I'm still encouraged.
Yeah, you can only
I
beat
mean,
what's in front of you.
yeah. On to our main topic right now, the Premier League preview.
Yes.
Let's start with perhaps in the order of how the teams finished last season in the table.
Yes.
And so we are back to Man City once
Man
again.
City, yes. So as we said, they won the league last season, as everybody knows, and I think most people have them as favorites again this season. Pep
Yeah,
has like created and refined this league winning machine. Still largely the same as last season, minus Julian Alvarez, but they've got Savio, who is now known as Savinho.
little Savio.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know a lot about him except for when he signed for City, he said that he's been a fan of City all his life, and he remembers when he was a kid watching Man City. And I'm like,
My goodness,
don't
how
be
young is this guy?
don't be bullshitting. You're 20 years old. When you were a kid, like Micah Richards was the captain.
Hey, I mean, to be fair, we all laugh at Michael Richards these days, but he wasn't that bad a player back then.
No, I'm not saying Micah Richards is bad, but I'm saying a random kid in Brazil won't be supporting Man City at that time unless you were such a huge fan of Elano.
So 20 years ago, was Robinho there already? Did he arrive already?
Possibly, but even then, there are other
Okay.
teams to support.
Maybe he likes Joe.
Yeah, Elano and Joe. But yeah, I mean, Savinho is coming. He's, I guess, a bit similar to Jeremy Doku, or well,
Yeah,
probably more similar to Grealish. Jeremy Doku is quite extreme in how much he dribbles. Uh,
yeah.
But Grealish is also a sort of returning player. He didn't have a good season last year. I wonder if they'll buy anybody to replace Alvarez.
Right now, Savinho is the only player
Yeah.
to have come in for Man City. Although it can be argued that they don't really need that many changes in their squad. The squad
Yeah.
still probably can perform well for 1 or 2 more seasons.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just it's is it troubling? I'm not sure. But as we discovered recently in our quiz, Julian Alvarez played the most minutes out of City's attackers last year, played more than Haaland. So you lose Alvarez, that's a lot of minutes you need to fill. But that being said, if Haaland stays fit, then that problem solved.
I have to say it doesn't trouble me at all.
Mm.
I'm perfectly fine with that situation.
Yeah, yeah,
But it does look like they might want to sign a replacement for Alvarez unless a youngster can come through
yeah.
to deputize.
I mean, they have James McAtee and Oscar Bob.
Oscar Bob sounds like a fake name.
Yeah, I know. So it's such a fake name. Both of them quite good midfielder winger types, very much like a Bernardo Silva type, not so much a Julian Alvarez, but they'll probably manage. Even if Haaland gets injured, that's excuse enough for Pep to just play a shitload of attacking midfielders.
Yeah, I think with Pep, you don't have to worry. Well, I mean, we are not worried, but basically, I think fans don't have to worry about when if Haaland's out. I think he can dig deep into his wealth of attacking talent,
Mm.
play somebody as a false nine, start someone up front,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
place, shift his tactics a little bit. That's something that we've seen Pep do quite a lot. He's very flexible with what he puts on the pitch,
mm.
and he has the trophies to back that up. So
Yeah. And City, they start the season playing away at Chelsea, so that'll be quite a good game.
Chelsea, we'll get to them later.
Yeah. The next 3 games are Ipswich, West Ham, Brentford, and then fifth game of the season they play Arsenal. So very early into the season, there's a big game.
Very early, and I think the thing is about City, they usually finish very strong. I mean,
Mm.
okay, let's be real. Yes, they're strong for most parts of the season, right? But
Yeah, but
but
extra strong.
I think extra strong,
Yeah.
at the final lap, the last stretch, the home stretch, right? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too concerned with who they have to play early on.
I guess if they set down a marker and like beat Arsenal 3-0 in the fifth game and already have a 7 point lead or something, then it'll be difficult for anybody to catch them.
For sure.
Yeah.
And speaking about Arsenal,
Mm.
there will be the next team that we're talking about.
Yeah,
Finished
Arsenal.
second last season.
Have they only signed Califiori? I think so.
They brought in Raya on a permanent deal,
Oh yes,
but
yeah,
it doesn't change things.
yeah. He was already playing. So Califiori was my pick, if you remember, during the Euros for
Yes.
star of Group B or whatever it was, and he's got an own goal. But I saw a stat where Califiori has in Europe's top 5 leagues last season. He's the defender that created the most goal scoring chances from dribbling the ball.
Interesting. From
Yeah,
dribbling the ball.
and sometimes he plays centre back.
What's his strongest position?
I think for Bologna last season he alternated between left centre back and left back depending on
Yeah.
what Thiago Motta needed from game to game. For Arsenal, he'll probably play left back.
Yeah, because it's interesting, right? I mean, they've got a wealth of defensive talent
Mm,
at Arsenal, right?
mm.
You have Saliba doing
Yep.
very well,
And
Gabriel
Gabriel,
doing
yep.
very well, Ben White pushed out wide, also doing very well.
Yeah. And then Califiori, another centre back who is going to be pushed out to left back. So,
Yeah.
and they had the best defense last season. So Arsenal, I expect them to do very well again. I think their challenge this season is, I think the issue is not that Arsenal don't have a striker, but it's that they are over reliant on Saka on the right wing.
Yes, I think it seems like it.
Yeah, and he plays a lot of games, and he's like sometimes so tired, and they need to find a way to do well without Saka.
Yep. Yep. I think, perhaps Martin Odegaard will still play a very important role from the
Yes,
middle.
I think Odegaard, especially since he has had a free summer, didn't go to the Euros because Norway
Yep.
did not qualify.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's very much rested.
And one interesting thing about this transfer window as well from Arsenal, they let go of Emil Smith Rowe.
Yes, to Fulham.
Fulham.
Mm.
Fulham. Yeah.
Yeah, good player,
I
Emil
mean,
Smith Rowe.
he's once at number 10.
Yeah, but I mean, he's just not as good as Odegaard, right?
I guess so.
And Odegaard is captain now and also doesn't get injured. So if you're Emil Smith Rowe and you're hoping to, get some first team minutes, what can you do?
Join Andreas Pereira.
Andres Pereira and Willian.
On team number 3, Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Very interesting. Very interesting development this summer for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Basically nothing much happening for them.
Yeah, it's like a big summer where nothing happens, Like the biggest change obviously is Jurgen Klopp has left. Arne
Yep.
Slot has come in. I mean, we covered this in depth in our Kloppenheimer episode.
Yes. Arne Slot has come in. I believe they did pretty well in the friendly matches.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a concern for the fans at least that they're not bringing anyone in, especially after a couple of big names left, right? So Joel Matip released, Thiago retiring.
Yeah. Thiago, I mean, they also let go of Adrian, the third choice keeper, and Fabio Carvalho has just gone to Fulham as well, I think. Oh, Brentford. Yes, Brentford. So obviously none of those four were first choice, but just Joel Matip was a very, very good backup option at centre back. Thiago basically suits Arne Slot's tactics perfectly, and he's gone. And your backup experienced keeper, and you're a good young midfielder. What would be very interesting to see is how different Liverpool are going to play under Arne Slot compared to Klopp. So I was doing a bit of digging, and in preseason, Curtis Jones, he talked about how different it was, and he said, we are not in a rush to attack. In the past, it was a rush to get the ball back and a bit too direct. And Harvey Elliott said, the style of play now is a lot different. It's more about possession.
Dutch football philosophy coming in.
Yeah. So very different from Klopp when it was said that Slot was hired because he was similar to Klopp. So not sure how that'll pan out, but no new signings, no real defensive midfielder aside from Endo, and who knows what's happening with Darwin Núñez.
Still being like passive aggressive on Liverpool fans, yeah.
So, I think so. I mean, he deleted all his Liverpool content from his social media. Is it still gone? I mean, I don't follow him, so I'm not sure.
I don't follow him either. But I think the last time I asked, which was just a few days ago, some friends said it's still not there.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, I had this discussion with a friend yesterday, and we were saying, Darwin Núñez isn't a bad player actually. I mean, he's really dangerous. He gets all these chances, because he's good enough to get into the positions. Just that he misses sitters, which is unfortunate, right? I mean, he was double digits in goals. I believe double digits in assists as well.
I guess, like you said, he's getting into the positions, and it's easier to coach or coax somebody to score if they're at least getting into the positions than getting goals from somebody who isn't getting into the positions.
That's true. That's true. You have to be there to actually get the chance anyway.
Yeah.
And I think, he's proven that he's a goal scorer. So we can maybe see the best of him, perhaps. I mean, as a rival fan, I hope not, but I think he can improve, and he should improve at least.
Yeah. I mean, and Salah has cut his hair. That's the big news.
Yeah, I guess. On to our next team. Fourth in the league last season. Some would say it's a surprise. Actually, no, not some. Actually, most people say it's a surprise.
I think most would say.
I think it was a surprise, yeah. Aston Villa.
Unai Emery's Aston Villa, who, like you said, fourth in the Premier League last season.
Yes,
They
fourth.
have been on an upward trajectories for a while since Emery took over, and now qualified for the Champions League, I guess ahead of
Mhm.
schedule. They're seeded in the Champions League, by the way.
Yeah.
I think this season is going to be a challenge for them with the addition of the Champions League games. So playing at least twice a week is going to be it might stretch the squad quite significantly.
Yeah, actually that would be, probably the biggest issue for Aston Villa to handle
Mm,
because now more than ever they need that squad depth and they need good quality backups right now
yes,
um to be able to challenge.
but they've been quite busy this summer transfer window. They've bought quite a number of people.
Very busy.
Yeah,
Very
they bought
busy.
Ross Barkley, Amadou Onana,
Yeah.
Matson, the guy who was at
Ian
Dortmund on loan
Matson.
from Chelsea. Yeah,
Yes.
like 3 or 4 others. They've bought like 8 players, but they've also lost Douglas Luiz, and that's going to be quite big for them.
Yeah, but I think Onana is probably the one for one ready-made
Mm,
replacement for Douglas Luiz, and it's not a bad replacement,
yeah, so I think their squad depth is definitely better than it was last year, but
Mhm.
there's still, I think, a drop in quality. I mean, I like Ross Barkley, but he's not the Ross Barkley from 8 years ago.
I guess so. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think they can reach the heights as the same heights they did last season. But it'll be quite fun to watch. And if they can keep like Pau Torres fit, that's going to be quite important for them.
Yeah.
Their centre back. Uh, but Unai Emery traditionally doesn't do very well in the Champions League. Also, he's famously the Europa League specialist.
And just remember this: Unai Emery does well with teams that have the word Villa in it.
Correct.
Sevilla, Villarreal, and now Aston
Aston
Villa.
Villa. Yeah. So
Legend, Villa legend.
yeah,
One name I would like to highlight before we move on to the next team is Philip Coutinho. He's
is
still on Aston Villa's
is
books.
he still? Oh my
And
gosh.
yes, and this summer he has been loaned out to Vasco da Gama, Brazil.
I had no idea he was still contracted to Villa.
Yes, but yes, Coutinho still contracted to Villa. Now we can go on to the next team, and that would be fifth place Spurs.
Spurs, yeah, Spurs finished fifth last season.
They started the season well. They started the season well.
Yes, yeah, started the season very well. I think first 10 games they had 8 wins and 2 draws, and then there was that game against Chelsea where they had 3 players enough or whatever it was.
I think Ange Postecoglou
Mm.
really came out and surprised everyone at the start of the season.
Hmm.
But I think towards the end, his tactics were kind of, I mean, rival managers were able to basically counter the tactics that he was playing and didn't really do so well, apart from the fact that also the players were probably quite tired near the end of
Yeah,
the season.
yeah, very intense, and what's the word I'm looking for? Draining style of play that
Draining.
Postecoglou wants to instill. Son did very well. Kulusevski did very well. They just signed Dominic Solanke, was it?
Solanke from Bournemouth for like
Yeah,
what, 65 million
a lot of
pounds?
many millions.
For
Yeah,
crazy sum.
yeah. So they do need a goal scorer because basically Son was the only person scoring goals last season. They have Richarlison, who I think has never even scored 15 goals in a season before.
Like
And
his whole career?
I mean, in a season he's never scored more than 13, I think.
As in like for any club.
Yes.
Wow.
They signed Archie Gray from Leeds for like 40 million. I don't know
Yeah.
much about him, but I found out he was the championship young player of the season. I don't know how much impact he'll make because they did the same with Jet Spence, and then they just loaned him out and never did anything with him. And Jet
Mm.
Spence was a very, very good right back. He's still there, but they have Pedro Porro at right back, so I think Spence is still not going to play. So Spurs is a strange one. A lot depends on the form and fitness of the fullbacks and Son and Kulusevski. If any of them are injured or not available, they're screwed.
Yeah. One key outgoing player would be Hoybier.
Hmm.
Yeah, he went to Marseille. Right, Marseille. De Zerbi, yes,
Yes,
as manager.
deserve with Mason Greenwood.
Mason Greenwood.
Yeah, he wasn't first choice, but again, he was one of those like it is not a big drop in quality from the starting lineup.
Yes, yes, correct. A few other outgoings as well. Ryan Sessegnon,
When
former wonder kid,
yeah,
leaving on a free transfer back to Fulham, I believe.
another one to Fulham. Oh,
Yeah,
Fulham,
yeah, yeah.
good squad, no?
Fulham's collecting all these like rejects and making them good, hopefully.
Spurs recently played Bayern in the Audi Cup.
Mm-hmm.
They played Bayern twice. Once in Seoul because for commercial reasons, because they both have Korean players, obviously. But they played in London for the Audi Cup, and Bayern
Mm.
won. And I'm not sure if you saw, but for Bayern, Harry Kane comes on near the end. Kane and Eric Dyer, I think, and the Spurs fans, give them a nice round of applause, and Bayern win the match 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
It's a friendly competition,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but there's a trophy. But Kane doesn't want to leave the trophy. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Imagine the memes that will come out from
yeah,
that. Like the only trophy that Harry Kane lifts.
yeah. It's a friendly trophy for Bayern against Spurs. But anyway, I also the other interesting thing I saw is that since stats were compiled and archived, Son for Spurs has scored the most weak-footed goals in Premier League in the Premier League. So for in the last 15 years.
I mean, goes to show that Son probably doesn't have a weak foot.
Mm, yeah, he's got 46 supposed weak foot goals in 15 years.
46.
That's very good for your weak foot.
Basically, he doesn't have a weak foot. But
Yeah,
I mean,
basically.
he does have a master foot, right? So like that would be
Yeah,
his right foot, I
yeah,
guess. So he's got 46 with his left.
yeah. And it's not as if he's been playing for Spurs for 15 years, obviously. It's just this is just over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Incredible.
Yeah, he
Amazing.
is an incredible player. And I sometimes think that he sort of deserves to be in a better club, you know?
I've had that conversation before, yeah. Son.
He's a strange one, like he's not like a Salah level, not a Salah, Eden Hazard kind of level, but he's better than Spurs,
That's for sure. You never know though. If he can be better than what you say, your Hazard,
Yeah,
Salah type players with
he's
the right
never had a
support.
chance
Maybe he
yet.
maybe he can be better than them.
Yeah.
On to our next one, Chelsea. Interesting, Chelsea, and above United.
Yeah. For Chelsea, I don't know how to preview Chelsea, except there are two things about Chelsea. One is they got rid of Mauricio Pochettino, their manager, at the end of last season, and they hired Enzo Maresca. So a new manager who's never managed in the Premier League before, with a squad that is hilariously bloated.
Oh,
Like
it's so big, the squad.
they,
Like
I mean, they need what, three changing rooms or something, and they're still buying players. What the
so the transfer window wouldn't be interesting without Chelsea. That's what I would
yeah.
say. It does seem like Chelsea don't really know what they're doing. But it's a lot to do with, I guess, I don't know, throwing the shit against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
mean, it is the ownership, right? So, but it's like
Yeah.
when you used to play old versions of Football Manager or Championship Manager, and when you could just buy more and more and more players with reckless abandon and
Yep.
not
Yep.
worry about any financial considerations because you didn't have that sort of long-term planning. You just thought, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna buy 15 players now, and I don't care if I'm bankrupt with 2 years because I'm not going to play that long. I mean, they recently sold Conor Gallagher, right, to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, they did.
Conor Gallagher, who was like their vice captain last season, who was the fans loved him, academy player, and they had to sell him to balance the books. And the manager is like, "Oh, the rules are like this. We have to sell him because of the rules." Like, no, you have to sell him because you keep buying more and more random players.
Yeah. Shopping addicts. Has the Enzo Fernandez issue been resolved? His racist
the racist song
thing,
after the Copa
yeah,
America.
after the Copa win.
Internally, it has. I'm not sure if FIFA or anybody is going to hand out any more punishments, but from what I understand, uh, he apologized to his Chelsea teammates, including the French players of African descent, which are directly impacted by what he said.
Yep.
And he also donated some money to a charity. Not sure if
Donate money to charity. All problems solved.
all problems solved. Yeah, such a stupid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Chelsea, yeah, you're right. I have no idea what to say about them except for the fact that Lukaku is still on the books.
Lukaku is still there. Yeah. Oh my god, they've bought everybody and they still can't get rid of Lukaku. But they do have Cole Palmer, who was one of the players of the season last year. But
Oh yes.
how the hell is he going to one? Is that form even sustainable? And two, is it sustainable under a new manager with a wildly different system from Pochettino? And with if every game he has a different set of teammates, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to admit I have no idea how Chelsea will do.
That's that is Chelsea for you.
Mm.
I'm sure we'll be talking a little bit more about Chelsea in our predictions later.
Mm.
And on to the next team, number 7, I believe, Newcastle.
Newcastle United, who finished 7th in the Premier League last season, but missed out on Europe because Man United won the FA Cup.
United won the FA Cup. That's really unlucky.
Newcastle are another one where, sort of like Villa, it's hard to predict. They've probably done that in a way. Their development is maybe a bit ahead of schedule, and to me, this is basically because of Bruno Guimaraes and Alexander Isak, how good they've been in the past 2 years. I think if the two of them can stay fit and firing, Newcastle will do quite well.
And actually, don't discount Anthony Gordon as well.
Yes, so Anthony Gordon had a really good season last year. Went to the Euros, didn't play much. I think he has a point to prove. I think he's very very good.
Yes, I think Anthony Gordon joined third highest number of assists in the league last season with 10.
And 27th August is an important date for Newcastle because that's when Sandro Tonali returns from his ban for gambling.
Oh my, completely forgot about him.
Like a new signing.
Like a new signing, once again. I think they were doing really well with him.
Yes.
Before he had that ban.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it'll be pretty exciting for Newcastle fans, for neutral fans, in fact.
Yeah, if he can basically come back and be his old self, that's the spine of Newcastle's team sorted, and they could have a good season ahead.
Agreed. We should go on to our last team, Manchester United.
Man United.
Our team.
Man
Yay.
United. The FA Cup winners who finished 8th.
The FA Cup winners who finished 8th. Yes.
Yeah, 8th. It's a big season for Erik ten Hag.
It is a big season, and I don't think we need to go into too much detail. We've spoken about Man United in our last episode, but I think we've got a big season ahead of us with all the changes that have been happening. Everybody's going to be keenly observing to see whether or not the Ineos management really has made a difference. Up till now, the two confirmed signings have been Lenny Yoro and Joshua Zirkzee. But as of the time of recording, I believe the Bayern duo are at Carrington for a medical.
Yes.
Or they've had their medical, basically.
Matthijs de Ligt
and
Mazraoui.
With those two joining up, could be pretty exciting. My only worry would be their injury record.
Both of them, yeah. When we did our Man United episode, we had a very, very lengthy discussion about who should play on the wing.
Yes.
And after the Community Shield this past weekend, a lot of people are saying that Rashford shouldn't start against Fulham this coming weekend. What do you think?
That's a fair assessment.
Who should start on the wing for United now?
So it's a bit tricky. It's not so straightforward, right? Like, oh, look, Diallo and Garnacho are our best wingers. But don't forget also we have that new signing, Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, but I assume you're not saying Jadon Sancho should start.
I am not saying that, but I am saying that that could be an option as well. But obviously the obvious choices would be Garnacho and Diallo.
Yeah, so I guess everybody is speculating, arguing, debating. Is it Garnacho Diallo? Is it Garnacho Rashford, where Garnacho is on the right? Is it Rashford Diallo again with Garnacho coming on? I personally would start Garnacho and Diallo just because you go with whoever's in form, and Garnacho is just on a high, right? But there's also one more thing, one spanner in the works, and we just mentioned Mazraoui, who is 99% certain of signing for United.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are confident that he's there to get the best out of Anthony. Does that mean Anthony is going to start more again?
Is he there to get the best out of Anthony?
Do you think Mazraoui will start?
If he's fit and if Luke Shaw isn't, then there is a good chance that Dalot will go to the left.
I agree with you. So
yeah, and Mazraoui will be on the right. How is Mazraoui gonna be getting the best out of Anthony?
just because they combined very well when they were at Ajax, just the way, because Anthony is good at receiving the ball, going past one player, but he's not fast, right? And
Yeah,
he's good at playing 1-2s and all. And Mazraoui is good at supporting, acting as the bounce pass and all on the inside. So they complement each other.
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if Anthony's gonna be, starting even with Mazraoui there. It doesn't
Mm.
seem to make much sense to be buying Mazraoui just
Yeah.
to get the best out of Anthony.
I will point out that you predicted that Anthony will be the surprise of the season.
Correct, but it doesn't mean I think Anthony will be starting. I mean, I would say that even if he comes on now this season, he might surprise us with something useful, I suppose.
Okay.
It's interesting to see where Joshua Zirkzee will fit in.
Yes.
Do you think there's a chance that he would be fitting in on the wing as a wide attacker coming in?
I think he won't play on the wing. I think he will play when Ten Hag wants to play the 4-2-2-2, 4-2-4, 2 false nine sort of
Mm,
tactic shape. He will go with either Bruno Mount or Bruno Zirkzee.
mm. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see. Uh, right now, it's still a bit of a mystery where Zirkzee will play, and even an even bigger headache once Højlund comes back from injury.
Yes. I'm looking forward to seeing Zirkzee. I think he was Serie A Young Player of the Year last year.
Yep. And it has to be mentioned again, Zirkzee, former Bologna player,
Mm.
just like that big star you predicted, Calafiori,
Calafiori.
also Bologna.
Mm.
So, I think it's interesting to see if they can perform up to their usual standard when taken out of that Bologna system.
Yes, that's a good point.
Okay, shall we do some predictions?
Yes. Who's your champion?
Can't look past Man City, I would say.
Yeah, I think City. I think they'll win the league quite comfortably again this season.
You think comfortably? I mean, they were pushed to like what last
Yes,
season?
yes.
Yeah, I think Arsenal would challenge strongly again. That's
I
what I would
think
say.
Arsenal. Yeah, so I think Arsenal is second, but I think City will be more comfortable because more teams will take points off of Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have this thing of dropping points against weaker teams.
Yeah. No, but also because I think all the other top four, top five are all
Hmm.
going to take points off of Arsenal, but not take points
You
off of
think?
City.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe yes. So that's two of our top four.
Yeah. So
Um,
mm,
who would you think will finish in the Champions League positions?
I have United and Liverpool in that order.
I have United actually,
Mm,
and personally, I'm not too sure who will be third or fourth.
okay.
One of them United, the other potentially Liverpool. Although there's a bit of uncertainty regarding, the change in manager, the change in the style of play,
Mm, mm.
the lack of signings.
I think it'll be Liverpool, but I could also see Newcastle doing it.
Newcastle. I mean, now that you mentioned, you refreshed my memory about Tonali.
Mm.
Maybe with Tonali coming back, they could have a good chance at it. You think Aston Villa?
I think they'll do well, but they're not going to finish top four.
Spurs, maybe.
I have,
They have a goal scorer now, Solanke.
yeah. So I have Spurs in the top six.
Mm.
Basically, so my top three are City, Arsenal, United, and then Liverpool or Newcastle, fourth and fifth, and then Spurs.
Ah, okay. I mean, I have Spurs at fifth,
Mm.
where they normally finish,
Yeah,
just outside
yeah,
of the Champions League.
just out. Yeah,
Uh, yeah, always the best of the rest.
yes.
Um,
So for me, Newcastle and Spurs, and to some extent Villa as well. If Son, Isaac, or Ollie Watkins get injured,
mm,
those teams are screwed.
uh, yes, perhaps. Most so, I think, with Aston Villa.
Mm. Of the other teams that we've gone through, the only thing missing is Chelsea.
Chelsea.
I think Chelsea is gonna have are gonna have a horrible season and finish mid-table at best.
You know, I thought that would happen last season.
Mm.
Somehow, late in the season, they got their act together,
Yes,
um, strung a good run of games, and they actually finished higher than United, which, oh my gosh.
yes. No, you're right, but they got the act together. I think largely due to Poch finding a good rhythm and system,
Mhm.
and they were carried by Cole Palmer.
For sure, for sure. I don't think Chelsea would be in the European spot.
Mm.
I'm not sure how mid table they would be at, but
Mm.
at least something like seventh or eighth. I think it's a realistic kind of position for Chelsea.
Yeah, I I don't know. I think they'll finish below Leicester. I think they'll finish below Brighton. I think they'll finish below.
Leicester, below Leicester.
Yeah,
Wow.
Jamie Vardy is back.
He's not gonna score that many goals.
He's not going to score 35 goals again, but he's going to score. He's going to score more than all the other Chelsea players aside from Palmer put together.
Maybe, maybe. Unless maybe Lukaku plays again.
Speaking of, yeah, that who do you think is top scorer? Is it the
Haaland.
obvious one?
Haaland. It's pretty
Yeah,
obvious.
that's yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Gordon might be like maybe not player of the year, but he's one of the like surprise packages of the year. I think have a very good season. He'll have like a Cole Palmer season, I think, Anthony Gordon.
I would say player of the season. I was gonna go with like Cole Palmer actually.
Mm.
Yeah, the guy has proven that he can perform. Even when not starting for England, he came on, and the team immediately became dangerous with him on the
Mm.
pitch. Yeah,
Mm. Who do you think will flop this season?
I don't have a player in mind, but so yeah, to me, Liverpool probably has the highest chance of flopping. I'm not mentioning Chelsea here because
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a surprise
yeah,
if they don't perform so well.
yeah. I have Dominic Solanke possibly flopping as well.
Ah, our 65 million pound
Yeah,
signing.
yes. And Solanke is like sort of like Rashford, where he has one good season, two bad seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the same number of goals as Ollie Watkins last
Mm.
season, 19. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, it's not to be snuffed at.
For sure, for sure. I mean, it's just to me, like I said, he has he's very roller coaster up and down. Where one season he'll do really well, and then he'll be anonymous for the next 6 months. And I just feel like he's not going to score a lot of goals at Spurs. I think, and the thing is, Spurs needs goals.
Spurs need goals. Yes.
Yeah,
And that's the reason why he was signed. So
yeah,
let's see.
yeah,
I guess the minimum expectation would be to score more than Richarlison.
yeah, yeah.
Not
And
a very high bar.
yes, and I'm still not sure he'll achieve that.
Oh my.
Mm, yeah,
Okay. Who do
yeah.
you think will be the first manager sacked?
I had Arne Slot, but I think it might be Enzo Maresca.
I have Enzo Maresca
Yeah.
as the first manager sacked.
The international break, the first one, is 2nd to 10th September, and the next one is 7th to 15th October. So I wonder if he'll be sacked before the second one, October.
I don't think it'll be that quick,
You,
but
you don't think so?
I don't think it'll be that quick. Is there another international break after October?
Mid-November, that'll be this one. Mm.
Maybe November, I would say.
There's every chance he might go.
I mean, the whole situation at Chelsea just doesn't look great, you know?
Yeah, it is the epitome of instability.
It's like they're just running on chaos. Okay, we have a listener question today.
Listener question from Laura, who is asking, who is our favorite ever Spanish player that has played in the Premier League?
Who is our favorite Spanish player to have played in the Premier League? Is it Laura or Laura?
Because she's asking about Spain, I assume it's Laura.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay.
That's the Spanish pronunciation. You see, you have to be culturally sensitive.
Culturally sensitive. But if she's
Correct.
not Spanish, then you're not being very culturally sensitive to her.
That's also true.
Laura, Laura, whichever. Okay, so our favorite Spanish player. You wanna go first?
It's to me a toss-up between David Silva and Santi Cazorla. Two very similar players, and
Similar players, yes.
David Silva is better. I mean, yes, David Silva is a better player than Santi Cazorla, but I just love I love watching Santi Cazorla.
Yeah, yeah. He's another guy who's good with both feet.
Yeah, yeah. I remember there was an interview. Xavi, the Barca legend Xavi, said that he has been playing with Santi Cazorla for the Spain youth teams for like for 2 decades, and he doesn't know which is Santi Cazorla's stronger foot.
Yeah, that's amazing. So Santi Cazorla or David Silva for you?
Yeah, probably Cazorla. Yeah, probably.
So I have a few players in mind.
Is it Fernando Torres?
No, he's not there. But but some guy from the same team
Okay.
is actually there. He didn't do well in the Premier League at all. But this is a player that I used to like when I was a kid.
Okay.
So that, to be fair, I was a kid. I like this player. Fernando Morientes.
I thought you were going to say Iago Aspas, but Fernando Morientes. Okay.
It's a lot more legit than Iago Aspas, don't you think?
Yeah, quite. Good player, Fernando
I mean,
Morientes. Yeah.
Yeah, good player. Was kind of like in the twilight of his career when he came to Liverpool. I guess maybe not so twilight, but he was past his best. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He did really well for Real Madrid, and that's something that I liked. When I was younger, when I watched him play. The other names that come to mind, David Silva was one of them. Juan Mata.
Mata, yes.
Ender Herrera.
Yep, we all love Ender Herrera.
Yes, and David De Gea. I mean, 3 of them United players. I like David Silva for his play style. Doesn't run fast, doesn't really look like he's doing much, but when he gets the ball, he's always so good, at making the pass, taking the shot. Yeah. So I mean, in terms of skill, I think David Silva wins it. I would give it to Ender Herrera, I would say. And of course, we spoke a lot about how Ender Herrera is so passionate, playing for the team. Yeah. So I think for me, in terms of ultimate outright favorite, it would be Ender Herrera. Morientes played for Liverpool, so I guess that I have to deduct some points for that. So there you have it. Who's your favorite Spanish player from the Premier League? Let us know. And also let us know your predictions for the upcoming season. Do you think Chelsea can actually up the game and qualify for Europe? Do you think Maresca can survive beyond November?
Do you think Solanke will score more than Richarlison?
Do you think Solanke can score more than Richarlison? My goodness. Yeah. Sounds like such a ridiculous thing to be saying. But there you go.
Do you think Savinho really supported Man City when he was a kid?
Where his idols were Ilano and Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you think your favorite team is going to do?
Do let us know in the comments below. And also, once again, do let us know on maybe our social media platforms like Instagram at GameSenseFootball, as well as our email, gamesensefootball@gmail.com. Feel free to suggest, some topics that you would like us to talk about for our future episodes. And don't be afraid to leave any feedback as well. So great. The Premier League season is starting. Enjoy the football that's coming in the weeks ahead, or rather days ahead, right? It's later this week.
Later this week. We're a few days away. Yes.
We're a few days away. So enjoy the football that's coming. And, do take care of yourself. And listen for our next upcoming episodes. So till next time, see ya.
See you. Solanke is not scoring more than Jamie Vardy.
Or Richarlison.